Hi all, welcome back. Enemy Action Kharkov, German Solo, part 38. Uh, okay, I did manage to get back for a little bit more tonight, so a bit of a late nighter. Um, so we'll see how far we get. We do only have 3 Soviet cards left, 2 cards left in our hand, and yeah, things starting to get a bit shaky, however. Yeah, but kind of big impulse here because I don't want Popov to activate. We've took a chance leaving this guy here, and well, if they do activate, we're probably going to have to hope for a really good result. Hope the guy can hold there, because we would like to have maybe brought him down to Kharkov, but there's still that temptation to leave him, keep him there. But anyway, we'll see. Right, finally got some confirmation from John Butterfield regarding 9.25. I posted 3 questions with some images. That was a few days ago now, wasn't it? Maybe 4 or 5 days ago or something. And I thought they were all sort of clarified by Martin. And then Michael came along and posted another question along the same lines, and Martin gave a different answer to what he gave me about the same kind of question. So it's obviously been a little bit sort of like, oh, we're not very sure how it's all working. And it's when you're moving adjacent to multiple German units and trying to what to do with 9.25. And the first answer John gave in my post regarding multiple German units, or was it 9.25 with multiple German units? I can't remember. I thought I had grasped it, and he said that if you move adjacent to multiple German units, if none of them have any preference to the requirement, preference, whatever, if it's not specifically saying that this is your German unit that you would target, say it's least strength and you're looking at a 4 and a 5 strength, and it specifically says least strength, then hang on. Yeah, just to give you a quick example, here's 2 German units. We're making a movement method that brings us in here, adjacent to these 2 German units. Now, whatever the movement method, whatever you're using, if it specifically talks about preferring a German unit in a specific situation, like least strength, the thing was, yeah. Oh, don't start, Grant, please. Yeah, so just wanted to just double check John Butterfield's responses to me. The first one was, regarding a Soviet move that ends adjacent to multiple German units in different hexes, the preferences of 9.25 will apply. If the movement method specified a preference between the 2 units, so if the movement method specified a preference between the 2 units, such as least strength, right, I get that one. This is what I'm explaining to you here. But he says, such as least strength or closer to objective, then apply 9.25 only to hexes adjacent to the preferred target unit. If no preference between units is specified, then apply 9.25 to all hexes adjacent to either unit. Yeah, I mean, what he's written there does run true with what follows up, I guess. I was just wondering about how closer to objective. Yeah, hold on here. What I think that means, and this is what's maybe throwing me a little bit, he means that, right, to give you an example, 9.26, right, has the third movement method, I'm way past that. 9.26 movement method 3. You locate the German unit in or closest to the active army objective marker hex. So this could be exactly what he's talking about here. So let's just say that we're moving, and this unit here is, I don't want to put a, imagine this is like the 40th Army objective marker. All right, you're moving the third tank guy. Right, hold on, I've got one. Right, there we go. Right, so this is the 40th Army objective marker. This is the unit moving. We've looked at movement method 3, and it says locate the German unit in or closest to the active army objective marker. Among German units, then it tries to prefer which unit, right? But we can clearly see closest to, we can clearly see that this unit's 1 hex away from the marker, and this is 2 hexes away. So that automatically says this is the target. And this is what we're going to have to get our heads around about now. And yeah, I mean, okay, maybe some of us were and some of us weren't. I'm not sure even Martin kind of got it at first, because he thought one way at first, and then, to be honest, he changed his way and it's ended up the way. I'm sure it's just John Butterfield, and he just wakes up on a different side each morning. Right, and so that is our target because it's closest, right? And then so that's it. And then what we want to do is, oh sorry, I'm looking at the wrong thing now. So what we want to do is move as close as possible to that German unit, entering a hex adjacent to that unit if able. Okay, right, forget about what's round about us here. Let's just say that we can only move adjacent to him there, right? Because of whatever's round about us. So this is the only hex that we can move adjacent to him. And this is our target. Now, when we've done this, right, we've moved adjacent to 2 German units. And in this situation, this is our target German unit because he's the one that was in the preference. And that's John's, such as least strength or closer to objective. This is closer to the objective. This is our target. I think that's what we're getting round about. Because it threw me a bit when he said closer to objective. And I started thinking other thoughts with that. But I think that's what that's getting at. And going back to my first example about what John says is least strength, there is one that mentions least strength. Is it not 11? So move to hex closer to the unit's front objective, not the same distance from objective. Yeah, but this is the one that's been thrown. No, it's not. It was movement method 2, wasn't it? That was throwing us. Because movement method 2, and right enough, when Michael posted his question, he did comment, part of his question was that John has says that it was a unit that you were targeting, not a hex. And he's got that spot on because movement method 2, 9.21, is adjacent to German VP hex and near objective. Move to a hex closer to or within 4 hexes of the unit's objective marker and adjacent to German VP hex. There's no mention at all there about a German unit. And that's what was throwing me, because I was still thinking that you were moving adjacent to the German VP hex, right? So it's here, right? And there was a unit here, always. There was a unit. So let's just say there was 2 units here. Here's my move. I'm wanting to move adjacent to this German VP. Sorry, I'm not showing you that. There we go. I want to move adjacent to this German VP hex. This happens to be beside them. So I move right in there. I'm adjacent to this. And what I wanted to say from that was that this is my target, because this is the VP hex. This isn't the VP hex. But Michael questioned this as well. I mean, this is the one that Martin answered at first. He says this was the preference. And then Michael posted this very similar question. And then Martin says, no, I think you need to consider them both. Because whether it was the way Michael worded it, because he did indeed word it in a way that this target isn't a unit, it's a hex. Just the fact that there's a unit in it, this isn't the target. This is the target. So the fact that it ends up being adjacent to a German unit, you then need to consider all German units that it moves adjacent to. And that could be multiples. If there was another one there, it would be, you would consider all three, and you would 9.25 round all three. So, and then my original one that I was trying to show you there was the, could it be movement method 11? Let's look at 11. Move closest to front objective, right? And it wants to get as close as possible to the front objective. There's our front objective there. So, and this is the hex that we have to move to. Now, we've moved from 5 away or whatever, we're now 2 away, right? But we've moved adjacent to 2 German units. Okay, so, no, see that's not the same, was it? Because it's picking the yeah, that's the one that mentions the least strength. Is there not something else I can see with least strength in that makes that a bit clearer? I think that one still works, because move to hex close, let's just say it goes to there, right? Closer to the front objective, not the same distance from the objective. And then it says prefer the hex A closest to the front objective. Okay, that is the hex closest to the front. Yeah, that does work. That one does work. And B adjacent to German occupied hex with least strength. B adjacent to German occupied hex with least strength. So he has moved adjacent to the German occupied hex with the least strength. So I think in this case, although, yeah, I think so. I think that then means that this is the target because it's got the least strength. I have to admit, I'm not still feeling 100% sure about that. I wish we could find, there must be another preference here that talks about least strength. It's more clear. You know, I've not moved on to 9 point, what is it? It's 9.22, is it? When you Soviet movement methods B. So we've not delved into them. So I don't know if some of them might bring the strength of units in more. I'm just trying to think. Yeah, because movement 2 does consider least German strength as well. But this is when you're trying to find the VP hex, so I think this is right. I think that works with movement method 11. But and what I mean by that is that if we come down to preference B and we need to be adjacent to the German occupied hex with the least strength, then you would only consider 9.25 round this unit. Yeah, I'm not quite sure that's a great look at it there or not, to be honest. But what the bottom line is, and hopefully we can sort of like take something from this, is it needs to be targeting a German unit. If it's talking about a German hex or anything like that, that's not relevant. It needs to be specifically targeting a German unit to then specifically 9.25 round that unit. So if you've got 2 units, it needs to be targeting the unit, not the hex and whatever. So yeah, I printed that out there because I wanted to compare the two, and to be honest, there's no point in me reading out what he's confirmed here because you need to see the question. and the image that Michael had uploaded. Yeah, because it says, and he's talking about movement method 2, he says the units in the VP hex do not have priority since movement method 2 did not specify or prefer a German target unit. So that's it. You've got to be targeting a unit. Okay, let's see if we can move on from that and make it work. Fingers crossed. Yeah, I kind of hope that one's been completely put to bed, but there's still a little bit doubt in the back of my mind. But that's maybe just my thinking. Right, well, that's 15 minutes going, Grant. Let's see if we can get a Soviet impulse into finish tonight. Okay, 3 cards left. So we don't want any of them to say mobile group pop off. Okay, here we go. 69th Army, yeah, I'll take that. And first card's Army units. Yes, I will take that as well. It might mean that guy gets supply back, but then it's just the units card, and it could also get used as a combat tactic. Right, this is a primary card. It's only got a command value of 2, which is quite nice as well. This is not a primary card, so we're checking for event. The event is from turn 6, so it's going to sit there. And we are going to activate all units in 69th Army, so this should be a nice wee quiet finish to the night. Although I might want to see what this last card is though. So anyway, let's get the 69th Army done first. Okay, activating 69th Army now. I get the feeling there's a couple of them hiding, isn't there? Not there. Here. Right, so he is active. Well, there's one in here as well. Ooh, I'll tell you what I wouldn't like to see. It's not got assault coordination, is it? On that combat tactic. That would have been... No, they're not activating Grant. We don't want to activate them the rest of this turn. So that's active, and this guy and these two... They're both 2-3 strength. I think that's it, isn't it? Yeah. Let's have a look above in case there's any borders sticking out. Yeah, combat tactics is well, it says rifle brigade only when attacking, battlefield replacements only when defending. Okay. Yeah. Well, if they've got 5 against 5, that is going to be 1-1. Surely not, though. They've got a command value of 2. They don't have any reserves. Yeah, I guess my worry is that they go into the attack, they get a result and have an attack, and then they draw assault coordination and bring in the pop-off units. I guess it's pretty unlikely, but... Right, so 69th Army... well, they're Vornes front, aren't they? So, it's down here. There's, well, I've got these. No, I think we looked at this already, didn't we? Well, maybe we didn't. I don't. I've not got the movement. It's going to be 4 to move in that Woods hex, 5, 6. So, we've not got any approximate still to it. So, oops. Sorry. That was actually me nudging at that time rather than it just tipping over. Okay, so yeah, we're not moving the objective marker, right? Okay. So movement methods. Yeah. 1, take a VP hex, right? There's no VP hexes to take. We've got them all covered. Yeah. Yeah, they're maybe going to move on Belgorod, don't they? So movement method 2 is move to a hex closer to or within 4 hexes of unit's objective marker and adjacent to a German VP hex. In ascending order. So we've got unit 10, and it's across here. I think they might, because we do have, you know what, I'll just put that down the bottom there so we can see. yeah, they can certainly get closer and move adjacent to Belgorod. Oh yeah, we get the guy surrounded. Well, is he not already surrounded? No, he's not actually. Right, well, I'm pretty sure that's going to happen now then. Okay, let me pick a few hexes. Okay, there's 3 possible, and of course, the preferences of movement method 2 are to find the preferred VP hex, but this is only VP hex you can move adjacent to. So it's basically 9.25 around this German unit, because we've got to move adjacent to that hex, and there's no other German units to consider that we're moving adjacent to. Again, I feel like if there was one here and one here, you know, I just wonder about doing 9.25 when round them both just from the start. I think you do. I think you do. Because I'm 9.25 and straight away for this one unit. So if there was another unit there, I just find that strange, because you kind of need to know. I mean, I don't know, right? It feels like you should be tie-breaking first to find the unit, but yeah, I don't, and I don't. I'm not so sure it matters, but it just feels a bit odd. You know, I know what I'm doing here. I know that I've got to be in a hex round about this unit, but if you put another unit here before I've even moved, I assume that I've got to then consider I could be around this unit or I could be around this unit, because we aren't with this movement method. This is a question that came up. We're not. This isn't a target unit. It's the hex that we're targeting. So the actual German unit is not the target. It's the hex. So if there's multiple German units, then they're not the target, so you've got to consider around them all. I dare say you've just got 9.25 around them all. It just feels odd. I don't know. It's maybe just me. Right, okay. Right, so there is only one German unit this time, Grant. So we'll work on that when it comes. Well, I don't know if we'll work on it. What I think I've been doing recently is, when there's two, I've been looking at 9.25 first, and then looking at what it would be if a tie break, then 9.25, and seeing if it's different. And I think generally it's the same. Well, in fact, it might just be always the same. So I might start looking at it that way and just do a bit of it off camera and have a look. Okay. Well, it's not going to be this hex, because this is not empty. So 9.25. Yeah, I get the feeling maybe I should have left this till the morning as well. I feel like my head's not quite with it again. Right, let's persevere. Right, so going through the preferences, 9.25. Yeah, a hex that would cause the German unit to become surrounded is preference B. So yeah, just humour me. If we right, this is what I'm thinking would happen. Right, I'm just going to chuck another German unit in the mix here, right? And now we wouldn't be able to get down to that hex, so that's unfortunate. Let me cheat a little bit and say that unit's there now. I'm going to be trying to remember where everyone is now, which is probably not a good idea. Okay, let's just say that's the situation, all right? Just to get this one maybe out there a little bit and understand it. So I know that no, of course that doesn't work, does it? Well, no, it does. It does, Grant. because we don't need to end up adjacent to a VP hex here. Even though the movement method we're following, okay, is adjacent to German VP hex and near objective, that's my thinking on how things should work. That we could be further away from objective, we could end up further away from our objective, and not even be adjacent to German VP hex. And you ask, well, how is that? Because 9.25 breaks all the rules. It sort of says, no, you're going to do this instead because we want you to prefer to do this. We want you to ignore the VP hex. And so if this is the case here, and let's look at it there, we can reach that hex, that hex, that hex, and that hex. 1, 2, 3, yeah. So there, we've got 4 options we can reach. Assuming we're just going to go 9.25 as soon as we see we're moving adjacent to 2 German units. Because, I mean, we could just move into here and it's adjacent to just 1 German unit, but 9.25 might say we want to be here and then we're adjacent to 2 German units, so then you've got to consider this German unit, because there's 2 of them, not one of these has been the specified target. The target is the hex. And I mean, that's why I was wanting to target that, say that it's got to be around that guy, because the target is the hex. But 9.25 can break the requirement to be around the hex if it so chooses. So there's our 4 choices. Assuming you do it this way, and we don't break it down to tiebreakers first, then it is possible, right, that this unit could it's wanting to surround something. So it could surround this guy here, or it could surround this guy down here. It could move down here and surround this guy, and it's not adjacent to the VP hex. So I can only assume that that is a possible option here with the situation I've set up. And then we would need to carry on through 9.25. So basically what that's saying is this is not an option and this is not an option. This would surround this unit. No, hang on. This hex would surround it as well, wouldn't it, of course? Yeah. It's not surrounded yet. No, it's got an out hex there, hasn't it? Yeah. So this hex would surround that unit, or this hex would surround that unit. However, this hex would surround that unit. So I guess you've got to consider all 3 of them and then move on to the next preference. And the next preference would be a hex in Soviet support. We've done that one. And the next one is the one that had its word unchanged. So is a hex not occupied by or adjacent to a Soviet unit adjacent to the same German unit. So that would rule that hex out. However, they 2 would still be going, because each one of them would not be occupied by or adjacent to a Soviet unit adjacent to the same German unit. Okay, good. So then we need to move down again. It's an empty or garrison hex. Both of them are empty. A hex not occupied by an active unit. Both of them are that. So then you go to tiebreakers, and closest to the unit's objective marker if in play. I think they're going to be the same. Yeah. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, they're the same. And then empty hex, they're both empty. And then hex furthest in the compass direction, which is west. So in actual fact, that rules that one out, and that's where that would go. So yeah, I need to know if that's right, because I still feel, well, if you back it up, Grant, if we rewind things, I know, sorry, I'm going on a bit here. if we rewind things and not do 9.25 and just say, right, oh, okay, we can move adjacent to this or this. So, no, that doesn't work though, does it? We still need to have hex options to tiebreak, don't we? Yeah, tiebreak doesn't work in this case, so does it? I think I'm getting myself in a muddle now. No, in actual fact, we can't tiebreak first, can we? Because we're trying to get a hex adjacent to this VP hex. So if we were to tiebreak, it would only be between these three. We wouldn't have this as an option. However, if you're tiebreaking first and then 9.25 in that, yeah, okay. Well, let's look at that then. So there are our three options that are going to be adjacent to the VP hex. If we tiebreak that, closest to the unit's objective marker, well, I think it's going to be that one, isn't it? So here we go. It could be the same then. 1, 2, 3, 4, 9, and that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, so that does rule out the A2. Okay. So that then means that this is where you're going to go, and you would 9.25 from there, which then brings in this hex, and this hex, and then white, we've already broke that down, ends with the same hex, this hex. So there you go. Maybe it always works that way. Maybe it does. If it does, somebody tell me that it always works that way. So you just need a 9.25 straight away, Grant, even if there's multiple German units there. Right, okay. Right, let's get back to reality, Grant. We're moving unit 10. He's only got one unit. That's where he wants to go. So our options are 1, 2, and then we did have this one, didn't we? Because he can go 1, 2, 3. Okay. So 9.25 of that. This is not an empty hex, right? Let's take that away. And in actual fact, this one is going to be adjacent to Soviet unit, adjacent to the same German unit. This one is not going to be. I'm lying actually, sorry. It's surround first. That's what you get for trying to not look at the... See, that's why I need to look at them. So B was a hex that would cause German unit to become surrounded. So that removes this one, because that does not surround the guy. These two hexes surround the guy. That's probably going to come the same thing, isn't it? And then it is a hex not occupied by or adjacent to Soviet unit, adjacent to the same German unit. So that one is adjacent, that one is not. That's where unit 10 will go. Assuming he's not breaking any restrictions, he's not, he goes 1, 2, 3 into there. And that's him, he's fine. Right, and then unit 12, well actually, we've got unit 11 across here. Now he's actually adjacent already, isn't he? Oh, hang on though. Kharkov. Is Kharkov reachable? No, still not got a gap here because this guy's still hanging on in there. So Kharkov's not reachable for this guy. Now he's already adjacent. So a Soviet unit starting adjacent to German VPX within 4. Oh, it's not. It is not within 4 hexes of his front objective marker though. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 away. So he will just not move by that method, right? And this guy will be the same because he's adjacent. He can't go adjacent to another VP hex. It's preferential, but he's not within 4, so he doesn't walk in. So, well, he was 14 actually. So we've got 12 and 13 to fix first. So 12, well, he's going to do the same as, well, something similar to what 10 did. Yeah, so same choice as what 10 did. They actually could have reached this hex here, but it's full. It's got 3 units in it, so that's obviously why that wasn't marked up. So, right, we don't need to check. The unit is surrounded this time, so it is going to come down to the empty hex this time. So there's only one empty hex, so unit 12. Right, hang on though, he needs to be getting closer. Is he getting closer there? He is, yeah. 8, 9, 10, 11, and there's 1, 2, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, so he is getting 1 hex closer. I know that's probably obvious that I should have. And then unit 13. Well, yeah, he can get closer as well. So again, well, hang on, he's 1 hex back though. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2. Yeah, it's the same 3 hexes you can go to. So this time there's no empty hex. So it's probably going to come down to the tiebreakers, isn't it? Because they're all occupied by Soviet units. Well, hang on. None of them are empty. A hex not occupied by an active unit. So, yeah, that's right. I don't know. Sometimes I read that and I struggle to get, because this is a hex that's occupied by an active unit, and this is a hex that's occupied by an active unit. This is a hex that's occupied by a unit, but it's not active. So he's going to go there. Which makes sense, because now we have, well, okay, it's in Belgorod, it's in a city, but we now have flank, whereas we wouldn't have if we went to the other 2. But I know, it's in the city, we can't get flank attack, right? Okay, so their 3 are happy. Now, that last one move in, did it break a restriction? No, it didn't. No, it didn't. Right, okay, so move on. Right, so we've got 11 and 14 still to be looked at for move-in with something else, but yeah, well, we'll see. Okay, so movement method 3 for these guys, open supply line. Yeah, there's nothing. Like we said, there is this guy up here that's looking for help, and it's possible that First Guard Army Units card, if it gets used, might be able to help it out. But there's nothing in this area that can't resupply. So let's move on. So 4 to 9, these are not spearheads. 4 is cause surround. No, let's say there's not a gap through here. So we still can't get round the back of this guy without going away round, but yeah, that's not possible. And same with this guy. Yeah, I'm going to skip by that. To Soviet VP Hex, no, they're not proximate, even if they would want to help out there. Not proximate, Soviet. Right, I'm lying again. This is one of the ones they want to do, innit? Can he do it? Yeah, this is important, this one. We tried to do this the last time, didn't we? Why did it not happen? So, 2 Soviet VP Hex. Any unit moved to an empty garrison Soviet VP Hex. Right, that's Tracy away to bed, she's shouting, so I'll try quietly and we'll see how, if we get shouted at. I might need to call it a night. So, there's no empty Soviet VP Hexes, but Soviet infantry units, that's what it was. It was a mechanised infantry unit the last time, wasn't it? Soviet infantry unit, if unable to move to an unoccupied Soviet VP Hex, move to a VP Hex occupied only by Soviet armoured units, regardless of German proximity or supply trace. And then an infantry unit starting, yada yada. Right, so this goes in descending order. 1, 2, yeah, he can do that actually, can't he? Oh no, he can't, because it's, well, hang on, you can move into here, Grant. So that's 1, 2, 3, because he's breaking zone of control, into the woods for 3, into there for 4. Yeah. And this is a Soviet-occupied hex, but only occupied by armour. So he's going to do that, move away from that. Yeah. It's then going to let that guy get moving. So 1, 2, 3, and then 4 into there. Okay. And then Unit 11 would have done that as well, but now that there's an infantry unit in there, it is not only occupied by armour. So, yeah, and where's the other one? Yeah, the other hex we've got is got infantry and it's up there, so that's fine. And it now allows that unit the next time, the armoured unit, to move away. And in actual fact, it will carry out the attack on that guy this time as well. Where it wasn't able to before because it had less than 3 steps in the hex. Okay, so movement method 6, adjacent to German VP hex. Right, this is going to lock the guy in now because he is a Soviet unit starting adjacent to the most qualified German VP hex. Is not moved by this or any subsequent method except as directed by 9.25. Yeah, so 9.25. Can he 9.25? We can't get in there. I don't think he can get in there either, can he? Because he's moving through horrible terrain, innit? Yeah, it's like 1, 2, 3. Oh no, he can. No, he's breaking zone of control. So it's 1 breaking zone of control, 1 crossing the river, and then 2 into the woods. So it's actually his full movement allowance to move from there to there. So he doesn't have the 1 to move back into there. So I think he just walks in there then. Yeah. So he's checked 9.25, he can't move to a more preferred hex, and that's him. Okay. Right, that's everybody moved. So let's look at some attack checks then. Okay, so ascending order, we've got Unit 10 here. Yeah, this is, yeah, I think this is going to go ahead, isn't it? So Unit 10 can attack here. We've got, to bring that card down a little bit. We've got no reserves. The combat tactics, well, for attacking is rifle brigade, so not assault coordination. So we've got 3, 6, 9 against 2. He's getting no adjustments to that, even though he's in a city. Yeah, so 92 is 41, so the attack's going to go ahead. Yep. So attack's going ahead. Well, let's do it then. So there's no reserves to add. Well, hang on. Let's do it properly, Grant. That's 9 to 2, so 41. 41. And there's only 3 chip pools. There we go. Right, so it's not overwhelming. We don't have any reserves, so we're going to draw a combat tactic. So they've only got 1 card left, so yeah, this is going to be the last turn for them, I think. Right, what do we got? 40th Army. intelligence. That's quite good because that would reuse, but we've not got any cards left. So he's going to bring in the rifle brigade as well. So I think this is going to be curtains for the guy. So intelligence, what does it do again? Intelligence on Soviet attack. The Soviet command value is considered to be a 5. So whereas it's a 2 just now. Just about to see. You can't play combat tactics. Oh well. If I'd wanted to play that artillery, I wouldn't have been able to. I wouldn't have used it on that guy though. If it had been this, I would have been annoyed because I might have been wanting to use it on that, but however, it's not. And if the printed CV is 4 or 5, increased German hits by 1. Well, it's not. So that's not that bad for us really. It's meaning that card's a 5, and they get an extra chip pool for it. So the odds are still not overwhelming. So it's going to grab the last card that they've got from the auxiliary card box and get Rifle Brigade. And Rifle Brigade increase Soviet combat strength by 2 when attacking. So that's 3, 6, 9, 11 to 2. So they've upped the odds to 5 to 1. And another chip pool for the Rifle Brigade. And it also does Rifle Brigade increase Soviet combat strength by 2 when attacking. Reduce total hits incurred by the Soviets in the combat by 1 when attacking or defending. So they're going to reduce a hit to themselves as well. Okay. Right, and we can't play combat tactics anyway, so nice and simple. Yeah, this is going to be nice and simple end. Well, not to the turn, because we've got 2 cards in our hand actually, which is quite interesting. I was panicking about burning through my cards, and now I'm sitting like this. Okay, so 5 to 1 odds, 5 chip pools. They don't have armour. The Rifle Brigade obviously is not Tank Brigade and doesn't add armour. So there's that. We're in a city. We can't retreat though. So if we do get a hit on ourselves, then yeah. Right, let's get 5 chats. Okay, first chat is air power. Nobody played air power. We did have air power in our hand, didn't we? But we weren't allowed to play anything anyway, so right, 4 to go. Yeah, 2 to 1, and it's a replenish chat, so I'm going to shuffle back in the set aside stuff, and because that's all we can afford, because one hit's going to be soaked up by the city, so any more hits and then we're going. Well, it's only attacker armour, only defender armour, and we're the only ones with armour. Like I say, it was Rifle Brigade and not Tank Brigade, so I would have preferred to have seen a D-1, but well, you never know. Right, 2 to come. Right, well, there's a beauty. That has been 2 good chats there. Yeah, city or attack not supported. We're in a city. So unless they get a D2 here, then I think we're still surviving. I think there is a D2 chat for 5 to 1 though, isn't there? Right, 1 to come. Wow, what a perfect finish, because D1 is going to do nothing to us because we're in the city, and we're getting A1 to go along with it. It was NKVD on the front, but I panicked at first because I thought, do we not play in? But I know we had it recently. So this is an excellent result. It's it's D1 and A2. They get a hit reduced, don't they? Yeah. So it's D1 and A2 going by the chats anyway. Okay, so D1 and A2, but Well, the intelligence didn't do anything else, did it? No. It was only applying if we had a 4 or 5 card, wasn't it? And we didn't. So that goes away. However, it was the Rifle Brigade that reduced total hits incurred by the Soviets by 1 when attacking or defending. So that will take that 2 down to a 1. So it's 1 hit each. So 1 hit each, but however we're in a city, so we get to soak that 1 hit up. And we sit there nicely, quite comfortable. And they have to take the first hit. They're all 2-step units, so they take the highest selector number. This is the 13, so he flips. They take that as a hit. That satisfies that. And yeah, that went excellent. I mean, I'm not so sure the 3rd tank will crumble like that in the attack, but however. And then the other... Oh yeah, I suppose he's worth a look, innit? So Unit 11 would check here, it's 3 against 5, so no. And then Unit 14 would check here, and it's 2 against 2, so it is 1-to-1 odds. I think it's unlikely, but because we've not got an auxiliary card now, and they've not got armour, so 1-to-1. And the command value of the card is a 2, yeah. So we've got 2 +1 for support. Actually, it's surrounded, isn't it? Right, if any attacking units are surrounded, no. I should get a dice. So it was 2 +1 for support, 3. If flanking will apply, well, no. Or defender will be surrounded and unable to trace supply. Yes, he is surrounded and unable to trace supply, so that does apply. So it's a 4. It's not a VP hex. There's no combat tactics. There's a auxiliary card. There is less than 4 cards, so it actually got to a 5 there. So it was close-ish. Right. Okay. So. Sorry, I'm obviously just loosened it off too much. That's twice I've just touched it and it's just... Yeah, I've been pretty good recently as well. Did I not do it? I think I done it last night and I says, well, that's been the first time in a while. I'm making up for it the day. I think that's the 3rd time. Okay, so just final thing to check is this guy might bounce back to reserves because he hasn't moved. Where are we? Yeah. He hasn't moved or attacked. He is adjacent to a German unit. Removal would not cause a Soviet unit to be neo-surrounded. Yeah, because he's occupied by another unit. He was not placed as a reserve. And removal would not cause surrounded German unit to become unsurrounded. Yeah, he's in supply. So, he's eligible if these situations apply. And the one we're wanting to find is in a non-VP hex stacked with a unit or adjacent to 2 Soviet occupied hexes, which he's got both. So he will bounce back to reserves. Sorry, should have zoomed in all. That's my camera tripod skills are failing me. That's what I was worried about. Yeah, so he'll bounce back to the reserves then. And yeah, that's the impulse over, and that's the Soviets done actually. That's their... So nice to know that we can comfortably sit with the next 2 impulses, or 1 if we want to get cheeky and use a combat tactic maybe. Probably unlikely, but well, you never know. So we can get rid of that. But I think I'm just going to call that there because I was rabbiting away at the beginning, and plus the fact I think I'm speaking quietly here and frightened I'm going to make a noise and cause trouble. So it's probably best that I just wrap it up, I think. Okay. Right, yeah, and we've just got these 2 cards left. So we could play an impulse deploying these, and we could play an impulse replacing a point with them, or we could still, if we feel, I feel like taking a chance with this. But why though, Grant? Why? Why would you take a chance? Because as soon as we go into the next turn, I want to bail this guy out of there. So why not do it now? What is the point? You know, do it now. The Soviets don't have any cards in hand. Just do it now. Oh, and by the way, I got a response from John Butterfield. I forgot about that one. Regarding my question about the supply. And yeah, apparently it is needing some clarification in the rule book about the supply, and it is indeed meant to be that strategic deployment cannot go in a clear hex adjacent. So we wouldn't be able to do that. So I have been playing it right. It's just when I seen it in the supply rules, you know, it kind of omits the part about strategic deployment. So that's probably something he's going to have to put in errata maybe, because it's obviously in the in fact I think he mentioned it might something about the 2-player rulebook as well. So yeah, okay, right. I'm going to wrap this up, guys, because I don't like this trying to whisper, but it's making me feel uncomfortable. So I'll be back tomorrow at some point. I'm going to go to my mum, so I'm going to watch lots of footage on the train there and back, and the bus, and hopefully get up to date, hopefully not find too many mistakes, and then when I get back tomorrow night, hopefully sit down and get another part or 2 in maybe. Okay, right, I'll be back then. Cheers.